Good evening. We are live. My name is Jay Rothman with Real Men, Real Talk Raw. Welcome to a Friday night edition of the show. If you're coming in from the United States, thank you for being here. If you're coming in from overseas, welcome to the show and thank you for joining us. It probably is, about 6 a.m. for many people overseas, or as late as up to 10 a.m. in the morning. It is Saturday morning. Globally, out here in Mountain Time, it is about 6 p.m. I've got a special guest this evening joining us. His name is Cortez Universi. And I'd like to welcome you to the show, Cortez. Good to see you.
Thank you, Jay.
This
Wonderful.
This is a first for us, having a guest come in live from their car. You are a man on the road. You are on a journey. And your journey continues. And I just want to welcome Chun Hin La and Anita Johnson. Thank you for being with us tonight live. If you, as our guests come pop onto the show, if you hear something that you like or love, don't hesitate to hit that button, hit it hard, hit like or love. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them on your Facebook page on this live stream, and we will do our best to respond and answer to any comments or questions that may pop for you. But this evening is a special show because, well, like I said, this is the first time we have a guest coming in live from their vehicle. I believe Cortez is driving a Fusion of some sort. It is dark where you are. I believe you're back either in Ohio or en route to Ohio in this moment.
Yes.
The good news is you're not driving. You are coming live in a very safe way. You are pulled over. You are under I think a good light, and we got light in your car because I see you. You're well lit. So what brings you to Ohio? What's going on in your life that you're not in New Hampshire?
Well, first of all, Jay, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. It's I feel I was going to be on this show at some point tonight. I did not think it was going to be tonight, but this is how it worked out, and the universe called, and we're answering the bell. Here I am. So I am moving to Sedona. I got called to move to Sedona. It's a place that feels good inside my heart, inside my soul, and moving from New Hampshire, I'm traveling. I'm about 30 miles outside of Cleveland. I'm going to go to Denver in a few days, stay there for a few days, and then head south to Sedona. And I talked to my son about it, and he said it's going to be a perfect fit.
Well, I haven't met your son, but I agree with him just based on my own experience of the time that I know you and what I know about Sedona. It's a beautiful spot. And can you still hear me, Cortez? Did I lose you? I'm going to drop you out and bring him right back in. Are you there, Cortez?
Jay?
Yep. You ghosted me.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Cortez? Well,
Jay?
I'm going to drop him out and see if I can bring him back in. While I'm waiting for Cortez to come back into the studio, I just want to do a quick check-in. Deb's coming in from Canada. She says, hey, guys. Hey, Debbie. How are you this evening? Good to see you. We're having some audio challenges, audio and visual with Cortez, who's coming in. He's en route from New Hampshire. He's heading out west. He's been called to through wisdom and intuition to head out west to give a shot, experience living out in the mountains of Sedona, Arizona. I myself am about an hour and a half drive from Sedona, and I've gone out there a number of times since I relocated to the mountains of North Scottsdale. While I'm waiting for Cortez to come back in, I'm going to send him a quick text here, see if I can communicate with him. Give me a moment here. So how are you all doing this evening? We got Debbie here. We got Chun Hin Lei. By the way, not sure where you're all coming in from. I know, of course, Debbie's coming in from Canada. Feel free to let us know where, in fact, you are coming in from. I always love to hear what city, state, or country that you are coming in live and joining us on the show. Means a lot to me. Anita, where are you coming in from? Karen, so good to see you. Thank you for joining our show live this evening. We're having some technical difficulties. Cortez was in the studio and then he dropped out. So the universe has told us something different for the moment. Hold on one second while I communicate with him off the studio. He says he's on the screen, but I do not see him. Hold on one sec. I may actually have to jump out and come back on. Hopefully I can do that. I'm not sure that I can. Hold on one sec. Ah, here he comes. Are you here, Cortez? Are you back?
I don't know what happened.
You know, it's just, it is what it is, you know. Sometimes things unfold when we least expect them, and, you know, when we don't want it to happen, it happens, and it's how we respond. It either gets us through that moment or puts us into a moment of paralysis.
Yeah, okay.
It's good to see you smiling. So,
yeah.
In any event, welcome back. We've got Karen Palmer joined us from Spirituality Gone Wild.
Love Karen.
Yeah,
what a sweetheart.
So let's take a few minutes here, Cortez, and just kind of reminisce a little bit. Let's go back down memory street.
Okay.
It was less than a half a year ago that I was introduced to you through another guest that I had on my show, Melanie Proctor, who owns a business out in Thailand, I believe, if I recall.
Yes.
And she was a participant. She was a panel member with Jessica Alstrom, who did a tour down in Miami. I met you through, I believe, Melanie Proctor, and we connected. As soon as we met, we kind of had that instant, let's say, soul-to-soul connection. David Rickle talked about that the other night on his show with the guest that he had on. And I don't remember his guest's name, but David had said, you know, it's a beautiful experience when two people can connect in the moment and you just feel each other. It's like that energy, the synergy between you. And I like to refer to it as a soul-to-soul connection because I believe the first time you and I did a video chat and we really connected, we shared a lot about our past and our story and our healing process and journey. I recall that we both had some tears of, I think, of some sadness, but also some tears of joy and gratitude. And you know, for me, that's a beautiful moment. You know, it wasn't every day that I could meet a man, do a video chat, and in the same moment, literally get so real and authentic that we're both in tears. And, you know, that wasn't the world I came from. I don't know about you, Cortez. Yeah. That's not how I live my life.
Well, I hung around a group of guys and for years and years, and I was the emotional one. I was the one that would cry. You know, boom, something cry. You know, just very, very emotional. I would a lot of times have to get up and leave the room or whatever, and just get my breath and recenter myself. But a lot of guys just don't cry. There's fortunately for me, even with my walls up that I put up, I still was able to cry, and that helped because that released a lot, I believe. You know, it's a good release for me. It lets it out. it lets it out. I was able, I think I had to do that naturally, because if I didn't, I think I would have exploded.
How did you, when did you figure that out, or when did you give yourself permission to just be you and be in contact with your emotions? Because I could tell you from my perspective, that wasn't the man that I was for most of my adult life. And so
Yeah.
what a lesson you gave yourself.
Well, I kept it to myself a lot. I would, I would pick my spots. I'd pick my spots and I'd go and I'd cry and I would release, but I could, I would put up a good front here and there. And, I could be whatever I had to be in that moment, in that situation with those people. I was a people pleaser. And I always wanted to please people, no matter who it was. I would morph into their situation, to their emotional state. So if someone was hurting, I would hurt with them. I would hurt for them. It would bother me. I would ride home at night in my truck and I would feel their emotions, and it would really absorb into me. And, when you start doing that to this person and that person and this and that and in situations, it adds up. And I kept pouring it into me. I kept taking it in and taking it in and taking it in. I'd have release moments, but it's nice now, because as I've grown and as I'm healing, I can say it. I can say things now just right out and not be afraid like I used to be.
Hmm. So now that you mentioned that, that word called healing, uh, I'd like to invite you to maybe go back a little bit in time and maybe share with me and those that are with us on the show tonight in our community a little bit about your past and what it is exactly that have been working on. What is your healing journey about? What was your so-called, if we want to refer to it as, your moment of your clarity or awakening and or hitting a rock bottom? What was it like then, and what have you had to do to get to where you are right now in this moment on the 14th of December, 2018?
Okay, so I'll do this Reader's Digest version, that condensed version. So when I was very, very little, I knew that I knew something. I felt something. And I always felt, I would always play by myself, and I would always talk, I would always have like that Jimmy Stewart movie, The Rabbit, Harvey. I had a lot of Harveys, and I loved it. And I felt something, but I also I felt something from my parents. I felt, what can I say? I felt like a pressure. I felt like something just wasn't right. It was unsettled. And so I became very defensive, and I had to be safe. So I did things to be safe, and I got away from that. And it was a hard childhood, because I had the feeling that I was there, but I wasn't really there. I was there physically, but emotionally, mentally in there just wasn't that feeling of comfort, of security, of love. It was a feeling of just doing. And so as I grew up, I was pretty much a loner kid. I went to school, and I kept everything in. I had a hard time reading. I had a hard time in school. And then they put me in a special reading class. And that really crushed me. That devastated me, because I didn't feel like I was part of my other classmates. I didn't feel like I was part of everyone. I felt like I was detached from them. And so I carried that, and it just little things like that kept mounting. And then I got married and had children, and then I loved my children so much, and I became this incredible provider. I became a workaholic, and I gave my children things. and I gave them a lot of material things. And I wanted to have them have things that I never had. And so I would get them this and, and that. And it just went on and on and on. I became a workaholic. And I remember there was a day when I stopped and I said to myself, I'm not the person I should be. I'm not the man I should be. And I was scared to be that man. And I remember I said to myself, it's time to be that man. And I didn't become that man. I got scared. And because I didn't know if I'd be accepted with all my friends around me, because what I had built up to be, I wasn't. And so to all of a sudden say, well, that's not me, this is me, I was afraid, because it's like, here's who I really am. And so I kept being who I was because I was scared to be who I truly was. And so I absorbed myself in work, and it took a toll on my marriage. We got separated, and I became emotionally distraught. I started drinking, emotional drinking, to suppress my feelings. I was scared. I was suppressing everything. And, I would go out, I would go to gentlemen's clubs. I would drink, and then I'd get up and I'd go to work, and I'd put my work face on and my customer face on. And then it'd be like a cycle. It'd just go around and around and around. And it became very, very, very cumbersome on me, very heavy. And then I got to a point where I was like, I would sit in my truck and I would look up at the sky and I would say, God, universe, there's more to life than this. I know there's something more. Well, another 9 years went by, and I decided to buy this restaurant store. And I figured that would be my answer. I'll do the restaurant store. I love people. I'll get involved in that. I'll throw myself into that. I can be around people. I can put on the smile, the smile that looks like a smile, but it's really pain. It's that pain smile. So I did that. And then I got up one morning and I looked in the mirror. It was the strangest feeling I've ever had. I got up and I looked in the mirror and I literally just looked at myself in the eyes and I said, what's going on? What's happening? There's something happening. It just was like, it was around me and inside me. I went back into bed for 3 days in a row. I never got out of bed. And I knew something was going on with me and I just couldn't place it. And I was never the same after that. I just was not the same. I ended up having an emotional breakdown. I became highly suicidal. I didn't want to be here anymore. And I wanted out. I just wanted to go back to where I knew I came from, because I knew I came from somewhere. I just knew it. I felt it ever since I was little. I know it. And I suppressed that. And so I tried to kill myself, and the police came, and I went into a psych ward for 5 days, and I met the most unbelievable people there. They were beautiful, beautiful people. And I felt like, wow, these people are just wonderful people. They were smiling and talking, and you could feel the pain. You could see the hurt. You could see the yearning for love. So I got out in 5 days, and one of my friends came over and they said, hey, look, we're going to put you on medication. We're going to take you to a psychiatrist. You're going to be better within 2 to 3 weeks. You'll be back to work and you'll be better than ever. And something didn't set right with me. I went to bed that night and I had an appointment, and I went to a psychiatrist and I listened to him talk about his issues 2 times in a row. Identical the first time, and then the second time. I was like, wow, this is interesting. The last 5 minutes he said, so how are you doing? What do you think's going on? And I was like, holy smokes. So about 2 weeks later, they wanted to put, I refused to do the medicine. I said, no, I'm not going to do the medicine. It just didn't feel right. So I did not want to do medication. So I loaded up my car with clothes and I took off down south and I traveled and I was by myself and I went through the darkest nights. I would stay in Airbnbs and hotels and I wouldn't come out for 3 and 4 days and I'd go get food for 3 and 4 days and then bring it back to the room and I'd stay in there, the curtain shut. And I literally couldn't move. I literally couldn't move. I couldn't lift my arms. I literally would slide off the bed and almost crawl to use the restroom. And it was really scary. And I just didn't know what was going on with me. I just could not grasp it. And I typed in what could be happening to me. If it's not depression, is there something else? And Dark Night of the Soul came up. And I started researching Dark Night of the Soul and I read about it and I said, oh my gosh, this is me exactly. This is me to a T. And that's when Jessica Alstrom's name came up.
How long ago was this when you were on this trip?
That was about 2 years ago.
At this point, were you still with your wife or had you guys separated?
Separated.
Okay.
Yes.
Was that your choosing or was that hers or was it mutual in that moment?
It was me. She's a wonderful woman. She's a loving, loving, loving person. She's a wonderful person, and I love her dearly. It was me.
Okay.
So
Moving forward, you're on the road. You met Jessica. How did you meet Jessica?
No, so I typed in the Dark Night of the Soul, and I read about that, and then I typed in Jessica. And then I got onto YouTube, and I typed in Dark Night of the Soul, and Jessica Alstrom came up, and I started watching these YouTubes, which I had never done before. I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. What's this YouTube? So she started talking about things, about life and about spirituality and about birth and about, how when you're little, you put up defense mechanisms and how we shield ourselves and how we hide our pain. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. She resonated with me so much. It was amazing. And I watched her and watched her and watched her. And I was just so grateful. I was like, wow. And then I started listening to other people, and it was the same core subject matter. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And that's where it really took off for me. And that's what saved my life, because I really feel if I hadn't have found the Dark Night of the Soul and Jessica at that point, I was done. I would drive up and down the highways and I would look at trees and I'd pick out a tree and I'd literally stop the truck and I'd say, is that tree? And I would line up where I was going to drive my truck into the tree, because the pain was just, I could feel it in me. It just hurt. I was so full of pain, and I still had love in me. I still felt love, but I felt a lot of pain. And that went on for a while. That went on for a while, and I somehow, I don't know how, I made it through that. I just kept fighting. And fighting, and I just learned a little bit each day, a little bit more, and it was validation from everyone. So everyone that I've met, that's why, I couldn't get enough of it, because there were people out there just like me. And
take a breath, take a nice deep breath, and it's okay. It's okay.
And
right where you're at.
And that's what kept me going. And it was just so refreshing to see, and helpful and loving and kind to see everybody, voicing how they felt. And they were like, I'd watch these YouTubes and they'd be like, well, if this can help you, I want to do this video. And it was like, wow, this is incredible. And it was amazing. But at the same time, I lost all my friends, because I remember I went back and I sat down with a couple of my friends and I mentioned the word spiritual, and I immediately got the eye roll, and it was like, whoo, and I started telling them what I thought could be happening, and I never heard from them again. They didn't call me or anything, and of course I didn't. Well, actually, that's not right. They asked me if I wanted to go out, to the bars or out to dinner, and I didn't want to because I knew there was, drinking and stuff going on that just didn't interest me anymore. I was completely interested in different things. I was like not interested in my old self any longer. I felt like I had just like walked through this door and there was like, whoa. So all this stuff was coming at me left and right, and it was fascinating. And I was just completely absorbed with it. I couldn't get enough of it. It was just like everything I read and watched was just like, wow. And it was just amazing. And I got into Reiki and spiritualism and crystals and pendulums and all this stuff I had never even heard of, and it was just amazing. And I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. But I didn't feel like I could go do that with my friends. So I lost my relationship with my friends because I couldn't take a pendulum over there. I couldn't take a crystal and say, hey, look at this. I couldn't tell them how I felt when I was little. And, it's like, that's not what it was before. Before it was, hey, go grab grab the Captain and Coke. Let's have some and go out and raise some, hell and stuff like that. And, just wasn't like that anymore for me. So I ended up finding that my 356 contacts on my phone were dwindling left and right. It was like 10 a day, done, 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 done. And so, but you know what? That was okay. I was cool with that because I knew the path I was on was the path that I was meant to be. And
Yes.
I was not veering from that path because I was going to get there thick or thin, hell or high water. And I was determined, whatever I had to do, I was doing it. But I was a loner. I mean, I didn't want to say anything to my family. Ironically enough, my ex-wife would say things, and she would say things about past lives, and she would say, all kinds of interesting things that resonated with me. And it was like, wow, that's amazing, because it's kind of interesting because she she's such a good soul, such a loving person, and kind of screwed that up. But anyway, um, uh,
Hey, could you do me a favor and could
yes,
you open up that big handkerchief that you're using and show me what it says on it?
I'm sorry, the what?
When you're using to wipe your eyes, there's some words on that, aren't there?
Oh, yes, sorry, the light went off. I'm sorry. Oh, my T-shirt, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that word mean to you, courage, today?
Well, it means a lot because I've seen so many people that have courage, and they're pulling the courage out in me. And it's like Jessica said, now's the time for action. And I've come a long way. I've come a long way. I gave up my business. I closed my business down. I'm in my car with just my clothes, a few personal items, and away I go. And it's so interesting because I feel like my ex-wife and my two sons are like, this may sound strange, but I feel like this is the right thing, and we all know it because I'm being true to myself, And by that, I can be true to them. You know, I can be better. I can be better. I can be a better person.
Mm.
So
How
my
does it,
business,
how does it feel to hear yourself say that right now?
oh, it feels great. It feels great. So it's so interesting that you know, this is happening because um, I kind of felt like this was going to happen a while ago. I could feel it. I could dream it. I could sense it. And, you know, it's like the universe is putting me in place when it's ready for me to do what I have to do. And so, so I didn't want to do Facebook because I was scared of Facebook because I had done Facebook, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago. And I didn't like it because, you know, it was getting like all these likes and stuff and I don't know. And then it seemed argumentative and it seemed, to me, it didn't seem real. And so to do this, I had to do this Facebook, you know, because everyone else is on Facebook here, but I don't call this Facebook. This is awareness book. It feels so good to me, but I didn't want to do it with my real name. So I said, well, I'm going to try it and see, because honestly, I was scared. I was scared of, well, I was scared, I think, of putting myself out there, the real me, and my old friends seeing. But I'm changing to my real name in a few days, and I'm going to put my real name on there, which is Donald Shure. And I couldn't be happier and more proud of myself. And I can't wait to do it
Mm.
because I owe it. I owe it to the universe, and I owe it to others.
Donald, you got me. You just hit my soul. I'd like you to clarify for those that may be watching for the first time here tonight, the tears that you are sharing with me and everyone that's with us in this moment. Are these tears of pain? Are these tears of sadness? Are these tears of gratitude? What's behind these emotions that you're feeling in this moment right now? Are you able to identify it for us, for yourself?
It's it's huge gratefulness. I'm so grateful. What did Lou Gehrig say? I'm the luckiest man in the world.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
yeah. And I want to take a moment here to allow you to breathe for a moment. And while you're breathing and aware of it, I want to just take a few moments here just to acknowledge a few things. First and foremost, I want to thank you. I want to honor you for having the courage to show up today with very limited time, which sometimes is the best way when we don't plan and we just live in the moment, which I know you have learned how to appreciate and experience a new way of living, that we don't have to plan out a year or a month or 3 years. We can just live in the moment for today.
Yeah.
And you coming on the show was somewhat very spontaneous, and it just kind of started to unfold earlier today when we connected, and we had a conversation on video chat and texting, and I learned some exciting news that you are in fact heading out west with just hit me in my soul because uh, I'm excited that you're going to be close by. I can't wait to give you that hug
Yeah.
and uh, and spend some time doing some hiking together here in North Scottsdale and also in Sedona, and uh,
Mm.
and continuing our healing journey, independently and interrelational together. And I just want to honor you for having the courage to show up for yourself and for others, and show men and women that the way you lived. You admitted a few things. You admitted you were a workaholic. You admitted you drank too much. You admitted you went to gentlemen's clubs. Um, you spoke the truth tonight, and you continue to show up. And what I have learned in my own healing is that when I stopped telling myself and others the lies about who I was and started just understanding who my authentic self is at the core, at my core, my soul, and learning that I don't have to tell lies anymore. I don't have to people please, and I don't have to show up as to who I think people want me to be. I just show up
Mm.
as to who I want to be. And
Yes.
there's a saying I learned early on in my own recovery period and healing journey, which is, it's none of my business what you think of me. The only thing that matters truly is what I think of me. And if
Mm.
you don't like me because of that, or if you love me because of that, then then you know we're right where we're at in our relationship. And if it means that we have to take our Rolodex or your contact list, as you described it, and it gets narrowed down, and so be it. Because what we do is we're shedding off toxic relationships and toxic energy that no longer serves us.
Mm.
And as we continue to heal, we are attracted to more like-minded people, people
Mm.
that want to feel the freedom of within and no longer live in a bondage within themselves. And so when you sit here and you share and you get emotional, I know exactly how you feel, because it's how I feel on most days too today. And so I'm just, I want to say one other thing about you, Cortez, is Cortez Donald, is that you have shown up on just about every show that I have done since I started doing Real Men, Real Talk Raw. You also show up on the show that Debbie and I co-host together called Real People, Real Stories
Mm.
Raw, which is on Sundays for people that have endured some type of abuse in their life. And you showed up, I believe, for the couples show that Nathan, Moret, and Mary and I did a couple of Saturdays ago that we will do again in
Mm.
the near future. And I honor you for that, because there's a group of people that just show up, and whether you show up on replay or you show up live, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we come late, if we come early. Whenever we get here, we're just on time.
Yeah.
And you always are on time for yourself. And I love that about you, because you see, what I've learned is that if we wait around for other people to show up for us, like
Mm.
old friends and even family, we could wait a lifetime and they may
Yeah.
not show up.
Yep.
You know, the only thing we have, the only thing that we truly have, is an understanding that we have to start to show up for ourselves. And that's where the healing begins. We can't depend and expect other people to help make us feel better, to bring us happiness or joy. It's not people, it's not places, it's not the fancy vacations, and it's not the things. It's not the job, it's not the career, it's not the cars, it's not the houses, it's not the food, it's not the drugs, it's not the alcohol, it's not the gentlemen's clubs, it's not the lies. None of that stuff is going to bring us home.
Mm.
What brings us home to ourselves is us being willing to show up and learn how to first take care of ourselves. And through the taking care, through the self-care, it's the gateway for us to begin to learn how to like ourselves. And
Mm.
from liking, we then fall in love with
Yeah.
ourselves. And I know, I could feel it, even though you're in Ohio and I'm here in Scottsdale. I know that you are in the middle of of having fallen in love with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a journey. I mean, I don't know that we're ever done. You know, it's just like we meet
No.
people that are in a relationship for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and they're like, you know, I love my partner more today than I loved them when we met. And that's like, you know, are we ever done learning how to love ourselves? You know, there's so much more to learn about ourselves at our deepest core, which is our soul.
Yeah.
And if you were anything like I was, you know, I got lost. I got lost for a long time. I didn't have a healthy GPS system. I had no navigation system. I just had a lot of limited beliefs, a limited belief system and a mindset that I thought was serving me, but what it was doing was just allowing me to survive. The survival techniques that I mastered as a young teenager, I took into my adulthood. And it served me until it didn't. And then sooner or later, I basically crashed. You know, I hit my rock bottom because all of those ideas that I had and all those solutions that I thought were what I needed to be okay with who I was, I had no idea. I had no idea. I didn't know what I didn't know until I knew it. And that didn't happen until I hit my bottom. And when you hit your bottom is when you began your healing journey.
When I getting some feedback. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. When I hit my rock bottom and I was losing everything, and then my business, you know, because I wasn't there, and I turned it over to my son, and then the store, my other son had to come in and take over for that. And I look back and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm losing everything I've worked so hard for. And it was like everything started collapsing around. Everything just at that point was like dominoes, a house of cards, just boom. And then, but now I realize that was, you know, bringing me a gift. I mean, I wouldn't trade this for anything. This is amazing gift that I have. And like I said earlier, you know, Donald Shure is coming out. You know, I'm here for the world. I'm here now for the Karens, for the Jessicas, for the Jays, for the Melanies, I'm here, and I can make a difference. And it's my duty to. I am here. I can make a difference. And I need to, and I want to. And I'm so grateful that I have this opportunity. It's just amazing. It's amazing how it's gone like this. It's done the 180. It's like, you know, I mean, I was deep. I was like, I was out of here, and now I'm excited again. Like you said, I'm starting to love myself for the first time. I'm starting to love myself I love myself for the first time. I do. And it feels good. And it's growing. And so, you know, it's like I'm coming out of the closet. And I don't know what to wear, but I'm coming out of the closet of awareness. Awareness.
I love that.
And that's what it's just.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's great. It's incredible. It feels great. It really does. I feel empowered.
That's freedom. It's freedom.
Yeah, I do. I feel empowered, and I feel, you know, I feel so much love. I was always been a loving, caring, generous person. I just feel now it's truer. It's truer. Not that what I did wasn't, you know, giving. It's a different feel to it. It's a different feel to it.
I think, you know, for me, Donald, it comes down to, I think the intention was you always had the right intention.
Yes.
It's just that when we're not in touch truly with ourself, and where our intention is coming from the right space, but sometimes our delivery was questionable, you know, and
Yeah.
that makes sense to you. And I think what comes down to is that today, when you look at your motive, you know, what is your motive? I ask myself three
Mm.
questions, action questions before I make any decision. And it's one is what is my motive? The second one is how important is it? And the third one is it good for me? And
Mm.
if I can't answer those three questions in a coming from a space of love and kindness, then it means my motives are questionable. They're not authentically coming from love, and they're coming from ulterior motives like manipulation, wanting to control outcomes, things of that nature that
Yes.
don't serve me and don't serve the people in my life. And the other two questions are, you know, same basic understanding of, you know, is it good for me? Meaning like, am I compromising my either my own integrity or my own physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual well-being? And if the answer is no, then I probably need to pause
Mm.
and just let the universe kind of take care of it. I don't need
Yeah.
to get into it and take care of everything in my life anymore. Matter of fact, the more I get out of my way, the greater the gifts and blessings I receive.
Oh, it's amazing. It is. And I feel the same way. It's almost like, I'm just floating along here, or going down the river. It's a whole different feel. I'm not planning ahead. I'm just letting it happen, let it open, let it unfold. And it's amazing how easy it is. You know, I don't have to work. I don't have to work and control and work and control. It just trust and love. And just trust and love.
You know, something that resonates with me what you just said. I'm gonna piggyback on is when we go through some challenges in life, and I know we, as humans, we face them every day, including yourself, as do I. And what I'm learning and continue to have to remind myself is that I can't live in faith and fear simultaneously. I either
Mm.
choose to live in fear or I have to choose to live in faith. And um, and that's so important to me because as I'm navigating through some, I'd say, some new territory right now in my life, and I've shared about it in the past couple of months. Um, I could easily live in fear, and I know that fear is extremely unhealthy for me, and it can cause me a lot of damage, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. And again, if I'm in fear, then I'm not turning it over and having faith and trust in a power greater than myself that I like to refer to as the divine. Some people refer to it as gods, others refer to it as spirit. David Strickle refers to it as the stream. And David, thank you for catching part of the show or all of it this evening. Thank you so much for joining Donald and myself tonight. Um, and so I have to remind myself because I am a human being, and when fear pops into mind, I've got to pull myself back in and ask myself that question: do I want to live in fear, or how do I want to live my life today? Fear or faith? And
Mm.
faith means turning it over to God, understanding that no matter what, even if the things don't turn out the way I want them to, it's the way they're supposed to, and I have to be willing to accept that in this
Yeah.
moment, whatever that is, it's a lesson that I need to learn. And behind
Yeah.
that lesson is growth. And behind the growth is more blessings and living in that total state of gratitude and serenity for me. And so, what we get to do today, Donald, is just show up for ourselves. And you do that every single day. Because every day that I pop on and watch either someone else's show on Spirituality Gone Wild or someone else that has their own channel or my own shows, your name is always popping up there. So I know that you're showing up. And what I'd like to do is ask you, Donald, in this moment,
Mm.
from your perspective, what are some of the what's your perspective on YouTube and on your different experiences just in general as far as showing up on Facebook? and your healing process. What are some of the things that have helped you navigate over the past, let's say, 12 months or so in your healing journey?
Well, it's hearing what I'm feeling, hearing from other people. It's like David and Karen and Terry and Jessica, so many, to say things and you're like, oh my gosh, it's uncanny how just the day before or even an hour before, that's what you were thinking, and you're like, oh my gosh, there it is. And just the validation part of it, just knowing that it just gives you that extra little support, that extra little nudge, that extra little yes, that yes, 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 yes feeling. It's been incredible. And again,
So
I was,
feel it like
I
it's
was,
like affirmations, basically, is like
yeah,
they're affirming
yes,
and validating.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. David had a great show the other night. The stuff was just incredible. And Karen and David had a show too that just took off. These shows are incredible. I love you all. I love so much to be able to get on and just read something or hear something, watch a video. It's so helpful to so many. And there are so many people that are going through this that need this. It's so important. When I got back, there was a girl that used to take care of our dog. She would groom our little dog, and she had a breakdown, ironically enough, shortly after I did. And I didn't realize it and for a few months later. And I called her up and I started talking to her about, what I was reading and listening to, and started talking to her. And just in that short time, that feeling that I could share with her, it helped her immensely. She's grown leaps and bounds. She no longer they put her on medication. She no longer takes medication. And it's given her, she's like, oh my gosh, this is incredible, because she feels love. She feels hope. She has faith again. It's restored her faith. And she's just grown incredibly. And it's kind of strange because, little old me here, just jumping into the pond, and I help somebody just by being able to guide her and say a few little things here and there that I picked up. So it's like a snowball, it starts out like a golf ball and it's just rolling. And that's what I love about this, is it's just picking up speed. And, it's the Love Train, that song. I love that song now, the Love Train. All aboard. All aboard. It's great. It's just great. I did this song. I real quick. This is kind of kooky, but I did this Elvis thing there. I'll do it. See if I can do it without messing it up. But that's all. That's all right, my llama. That's all right with me. I used to drink beer and whiskey. Now I'm drinking green tea. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right, my llama. That's what I choose to do. That's all right, my llama. That's all right with me. I used to watch TV and sports. Now I walk in nature and wear my shorts. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right, my llama. That's what I choose to do. Kind of kooky.
I tell you what, we are going to have one hell of a time on that trail, because I'm on that trail every single morning, 7 days a week, except this morning. I didn't go. It was 42 degrees out, and my intention was to go this afternoon, but the day got away from me. Very unusual for me. But I sit every single morning when I'm on that trail, and we are going to have so much fun. We're just going to have to figure out how to kind of get our vocals in tune together, or maybe not. Maybe that's what makes who we are. We don't have to be in tune. We just have to be who we are.
Exactly. I love to sing. I just say I love to sing. I don't sing, but I love to sing. Yeah. I love It's incredible how you can intertwine all this universe, all this divine love, all this higher self into music and words. It's incredible how it all intertwines. And I love playing with it. I love playing with it. It's incredible. It's great. You know, I
There's
used,
there's a
it,
healthy tool for you right there, Donald.
I'm sorry.
Music is a healthy tool for you. You know.
Oh, it's great. It's
Yeah.
fun. You know, it's funny too, because exercise saved me big time. Exercise saved me a lot too. Getting out, stretching my body, moving it, you know, breaking a sweat, meditating, Melanie, sun gazing, breath work, just incredible. It's Jessica's doing a tour at the Red Rock Resort in Las Vegas, March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, and I cannot wait
You know, I
to be
used to live.
there as Donald Shure on Facebook.
All right. You know, I used to live about less than a half a mile from the Red Rock. I lived down the street before the Red Rock was built. I used to actually, the Red Rock is near the Red Rock Canyons, which looks a lot like Sedona, just
Yeah.
on a smaller level. But it's worth taking that 13-mile drive loop through. You pay a fee, and you go through. See, most of Sedona is free. You know, just like Scottsdale and Phoenix. Most of the hikes here, it's just beautiful. Tax dollars at work. They don't charge you. They don't nickel and dime you. And you just get out there and you just you do your soul work. You know, you connect with you
Oh, I
connect.
can't wait. I am so looking forward to being there. It's I'm going to tell you though, I think it's going to be pretty emotional when I meet you.
Donald, we already met. What are you talking about?
Well, I know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, you know,
Yeah.
that's future tripping because that day hasn't come yet.
Yeah, I
Right?
know.
We don't have to go there. I want to stay right here. I
Yeah,
don't want to go into January because it's only December, and I just want to enjoy what's left of this moment with you.
perfect.
Because
Perfect.
I got to tell you, Donald, I am, I'm just so full right now. I've got in my heart, in my soul, my body right now. I just feel such gratitude that you're in my life, and that you had the courage to show up in my life, and you continue to show up, and you support me. You give me inspiration to come on and be consistent every week because I know that if there's no one else that's going to show up to watch my show with the guests that I bring on, I know you're going to be there. And even you may have missed one show live.
Yeah.
You were there in spirit, and I know you caught it on a rebound on a replay. And so, with what time we do have left, and I love that song. I'm not going to ask you to sing another song right now unless you feel
No.
inspired to. Then let me know. But I took off my hoodie because I got hot because my body was just tingling from being elevated by you this evening. And for those of you that don't understand the language I'm speaking, I am speaking English. It may sound a little foreign to you if you're not understanding what I'm talking about. But you know, when you do the work and you do the kind of work that Donald has done. I mean, he mentioned to me at one point he lost 25, he picked up 75 more pounds, and now he's back on his way down. That's the work we're talking about. You know, we're talking about the physical work, the emotional work, the mental work, the spiritual work. But what's a big part of that for me has been this word right here, forgiveness.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask you what your perspective is on forgiveness and what does that mean for you today in your healing?
Oh, forgiveness is huge. It's so freeing. It's so loving. It's so caring. It's almost like the word forgiveness, but it's like you get to a point where you don't even have to forgive anybody. You don't have to forgive anything. Everything is is just perfect in love, and everything is just right there, and everything's lessons, everything's meant to be. And forgiveness, that's an interesting word now. I look at it so different than I used to. It's for loveness, maybe. Maybe I want to change that word for loveness. I for love you. It feels good. It's, we're all here. We're all loving. We're all trying. We know, we deep down know what it is. And we're just want to be love. It's all about love. So I don't know, that word forgiveness is interesting, because I remember there was a time I used to say, oh, geez, I can't believe that person said that to me, and it's like something would happen. It'd be like, forgive. And it's like, no, you don't have to forgive. Maybe just forgive yourself. Just forgive yourself. You don't have to forgive me. Just forgive yourself. And give yourself the love. So it's like forgiveness for loveness. Maybe it's like a combo thing there. It's hard. Yeah. If that was kind of muddy and everything, but I don't know if you get the feeling there.
Well, I was allowing you to just kind of walk through it, and I think you nailed it. I love, where I was going to ask you where you're at in your healing journey of your mind, body, and soul. Who is the most important person that you have had to work on, or that you are working on forgiving right now in your life? Who would that person be?
Well, that's me. And I forgive myself, and I love myself. So it's for loveness. It's, there's a lot of things you can say. I did the best I could with what I knew, with what I had, with what I could do at the time. And like you say, if you show up, you just keep showing up. You keep showing up, things fall away. It's like one of those transformers, they walk and the pieces fall off. And you just keep walking and little pieces fall off. And then boom, there you are.
I'm going to just take a moment here, and I'm going to just piggyback that statement, because I want to welcome John Fiore. John Fiore is, there we go. Hey, John, I want to introduce you to your friend that you know as Cortez. His real name is Donald, and today is his coming out party. Donald is in the freaking house tonight, John Fiore.
That Diana Ross song, I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I gotta let it show.
All right, don't stop now. Now that you got me.
Yeah, I'll make up some new lyrics.
You got Brett Williams. Brett Williams is coming in from Bali.
Yeah, Brett.
We have a friend that was actually coming in from Hong Kong.
Nice.
Let me scroll back here. That's Chun Hin Lai. Chun, nice. I apologize if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Welcome from Hong Kong. We've got Debbie coming in from Canada. We've got Karen coming in from the beautiful sunny state of Florida. Let's see who else we got here. We got Mary Kelly. She's coming in from North Scottsdale, Arizona. We've got Sherry Myers. Sherry, I apologize. I don't know where you're coming in from, but please let us know. Michelle, I'm not sure where you are coming in. Michelle says, this is such a powerful testimony. Thank you, and I can relate. Strolling down, we got David Strickle coming in. He's been here with us for a while now. Thank you so much. Alexandra Bauer coming in from North Scottsdale, born and raised raised in the Seattle, Washington area, and from Luxembourg. Thank you so much for joining our show tonight. Tammy McKee, we got you coming in with us. Amber Freeland, thank you so much for joining us. It means so much to me when I see people that are here and part of the moment with us. John Fiore, you just talked about Donald. You just described, she was shedding it, and my God, the work that John and you and I have had to do in order to really come home to ourselves. We all had a different bottom that we hit. Yours tended to be, I think, the way you described it, you had an emotional letdown. You were taken out. You hit your bottom when you were emotionally distraught. I had a physical diagnosis that was my bottom. John Fiore had his physical as well. Some of us, it is physical. Some of us, it's emotional, it's mental. However we get here, it doesn't really matter. There's not a rating scale. It's not what's important, is how we get here. It's that we get here. It's that we figure out, we have our awakening, we have a moment of clarity. We have that moment when we realize that we are sick and tired of feeling and being sick and tired. And we also understand there's another saying, we're only as sick as our secrets. And, and what we lost Cortez one more time. We had him on for so much of this show, and I'm just so grateful that Cortez showed up tonight. Hopefully he'll jump back in here. He knows the routine. He knows how to get back on. We got Blythe Larimore. Blythe, where are you coming in from tonight? If you could be so kind and let me know. John says, I got my ass kicked. John, we have all gotten our ass kicked more than once. But I love you because you admit it. You show up for yourself every single day. Just like Cortez the Don does. He shows up every single day, no matter what time of day I pop on a Facebook Live show. Someone that's on, that's a mentor or a coach of some sort, doing the work that they're doing, Donald's name pops up as Cortez, Universi. And so she's from Woodstock, Georgia. Blythe from Woodstock, thank you so much for joining us. I am going to take 1 second here. Here comes Cortez. He is back in the lobby, and he is going to join us back in the broadcast studio. The nice thing, Donald, is we don't have to apologize too much anymore, right?
Right.
We don't have to apologize for things that are out of our control.
That's right.
So I'm not going to accept your apology.
Okay. Great.
You don't have to say I'm sorry because you got dropped out because the universe decided to take you out.
Perfect.
We do the best we can with the circumstances,
That's great, Jay. That's perfect. Well said. One thing I did just want to touch on here, and I feel like, I can move my shoulders. The sack bags are gone off. But, it's time now. It's time for me to take action. I got to that point. So, I went down in the trenches, dug deep, down in there, dark, came out, got my bearings, got my balance, refooted, replanted, shook my head, said, okay, now I'm ready for action. Now I'm ready to go. And that's kind of how I feel, though. I do. I feel like my next step, the universe is saying it's time now to take action. And, it's time for me to hop on that love train and support and love and care and be there and show up and provide and help others and support others and be there. It's time for me to be there. And it's time for me to take, and I'm so ready. I'm so ready. And I can't wait to see my name on Facebook. I can't wait.
Donald, a few things that pop for me as I'm listening to you share right now. I want to take a step back here because a lot of times what happens is that as we approach the new year, in the United States. And all globally speaking, I can only speak the belief system we have in the US is that we set New Year's resolutions. I'm not sure if we do that globally. If we do, if you're coming in from Hong Kong, or Brett, you're coming in from Bali, I believe you're originally from Australia. I'm not sure if you guys set New Year's resolutions the way we do here in the United States, but you know, New Year's resolutions is we set these goals and we're so focused on whether we achieve the goals or not. And the majority of people by the third month of the year, they basically take their New Year's resolutions and they set them to the side and they're back just in their routine and they're not focused on their goal. And then at some point they look back at what their goals were and they realize they didn't achieve them. They beat themselves up. They feel worse than when they started the year. And they're right back into the same cycle of mindset. And what I've learned, Cortez, is in my healing journey is to measure less of the goal and more of the journey. Measure more of looking at, taking the time to pause, to process, to reflect on the progress that I have made since the last time I checked in with myself.
Yes.
So, you know, when I hear you share what you just shared, I just want to bring to your attention that you have already shown up. You have already paid it forward. You, just by being present for yourself, you have accomplished a lot of progress. But what I'm hearing you describe truly is what I would like to refer to as up-leveling, meaning that as we are in the healing process, because I don't think we're ever there, enlightenment is an ongoing continuum. We're never there. We continue to learn and grow. But along the way, we hit what I like to refer to as these plateaus. And plateaus is when we hit this point where it's like, okay, I need more. I want more. And what do I got to do to get to that next level of healing, mind, body, and soul, or growth? And all the same, all the above. And so for me, for example, I hit a plateau. I was very comfortable in Huntington Beach, California. I was riding my beach cruiser 7 days a week at the beach. I had tremendous healing that had taken place along the shoreline, utilizing spiritual practices and self-care that I showed up for myself every single day for 34, 35 months. But at some point, I realized that I needed to start to up level. I wanted to grow more. And so I had to be willing to step out of my comfort zone of a beautiful life, a beautiful experience, a beautiful healing space and place that I fell in love with, which was at the beach, and be willing to pack my boxes and my bags and relocate, displace myself into a place where I virtually knew one person, one couple, I should say. Whereas in Huntington Beach, I had a whole network, a whole circle of friends and family nearby, and be willing to walk away from it physically in order to step into the next level of healing. And although it was uncomfortable, I was willing to step into it, because what I've learned in my process of the healing journey is that through discomfort is when we grow. Mm-hmm. And so I invite you to look at this next stage as not that it's not that you haven't achieved anything, but to acknowledge how far you have come in the last 2 years, and honor yourself for that, and take a moment each day to recognize it, not from an ego and from a pride perspective, but from just that space of humility where we choose to live today, and just honor yourself. You know, just have that awareness of how much growth you have engaged in, but understand that, you know, you do accept that you want more, and wanting more is a beautiful thing as long as we're channeling it in a healthy way. You know, I wanting more today is very different than wanting more that I wanted prior to hitting my rock bottom, because we know what that was like. You know, we were workaholics. Yeah. You know, we wanted more toys, let's say. We wanted more stuff that didn't necessarily serve us.
I get so much joy now out of, I mean, here I am, I take my shoes off, I walk on the beach, I walk in the woods, I make a point every day to take my shoes off and at least walk on the earth at least for 5 to 10 minutes every day. It's amazing. You go, I'm into trees. I'm into the sky. I take pictures. I never used to ever take pictures. I take pictures of sunsets. It's incredible. I see trees now and the colors. It's just, everything's so different. It's so completely different. I never saw that before. I saw where I was going and what what I'm going to have for dinner and what's the special, and give me a drink and and then what am I doing while I was doing that? I was getting ready for later that night. And then that night I was getting ready for the next day, and I was like, all that's gone. And it's like, oh my goodness, hallelujah. It's gone. It's great.
That's one of the blessings of coming home, is that all those things that you described how it was are not important today.
No.
What is important are the simple things in life, like taking your shoes off and grounding. That's the second thing we're going to do together when we hike out here. Not this time of year because it's a little cold for me, but what I started to do was I would take my hiking shoes off when I hit the peak of the mountain and head back down. When I'd be doing my ascend down, I'd walk barefoot the entire way down. Wow. Most 98% of the people looked at me and thought I actually was not a well man. There's only maybe a few people that would comment and acknowledge they knew exactly what I was doing. I was grounding. And so, I'm going to invite you when you're out here. We'll do some grounding. We'll take our shoes off. Maybe we'll sing some songs, and we'll be barefoot. And we may get locked up, the two of us, in the same in the same ward. But it's what the ward is that we live in today is we live in a ward of healing. It's
hey, what would be a great idea? It's interesting in the world today, but what if they had like jails with earth in them, and the prison and the inmates wore bare feet, and I tell you what that would do would be incredible. It'd be incredible. I mean, what do you their feet, they're in there, on concrete and metal. It's like, no wonder.
Well, there's different levels of prisons. You're describing a maximum security. The prisoner Michael Cohen's going to be spending 3 years in. I don't want to get into politics because I don't do politics today, and I know you don't because you unplugged from the TV. What did you say 2 years ago?
I don't do politics. No, I do not. No, it literally makes me just like, ooh, it's. No, I just can't anymore. It's sad to see people argue back and forth about things. It's like, my goodness, what are we doing? We're wasting our energy. It's like, I look at things so differently now.
How important is it? How good, and is it good for me? You can answer questions there. But I was just getting at was that lower prisons, minimum security. I believe you can. They have all kinds of tennis courts and basketball courts, and you could walk barefoot outdoors, and it's not the same experience. But in any event, I look forward to us doing some grounding together and singing some songs, and just enjoying the moment. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. And I just want to say thank you to everyone out there, that helped me through this. It's amazing what everyone's doing for everybody is incredible. I mean, saving a lot of lives. I mean, my life was saved, for sure. And just, it's making a big difference, and it's such a valuable asset. to just, I mean, the people that can pick up and watch these videos, watch your shows, it helps so, so much. And it's growing, and people are, you know, I think this is really, really growing. And I think more and more people are having this, and they may not be ready, but they know something's going on. You can feel, I've met people and I've talked to them, and you see that little glisten in their eye, and they're like, but they're scared, but you can see they're ready. It's like one foot, you know, it's kind of like going in a really cold water. They got one toe in. They know they're going to go though. They know they're going in.
So it's not a question of if, it's just a question of when.
When, exactly.
And that leads me to something I said earlier today. We were having a conversation. I said, you know, the teacher shows up when the student is ready.
That's
and
right.
not a minute before. You know, we all get it. We all show up when we're ready.
Yes. Yeah. It's fabulous. It really is. I'm just so, so grateful. I thank God and the universe and the omniverse and home. It's amazing. I'm so grateful that, I mean, how lucky to experience awareness. And then it goes and goes. It's how lucky. I'm thinking, gosh, if that store didn't do poorly and kept going, this may not have ever happened to me. And I would have just been going back out there. You know, I would have been doing what I was doing, and it just would have been ding, 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 ding again, almost kind of like a glazed over, you know, just going through the motions. I'm so grateful this happened to me. I'm so lucky. I called a guy, this is unbelievable. I just thought of this. When this first happened, I got online. I don't know why, but I got online, and this guy in Ohio, ironically enough, I'm in Ohio now. This just hit me. And I called him up. It was something that resonated with me online. And I called him up, and he wasn't there, and I left a voicemail. Well, he called me back about an hour later, and he said, so what's your situation? And I told him. He says, congratulations, you just won megabucks. And I said, what are you talking about? He says, you're waking up. And he started talking to me about this, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
But now you do.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff.
It's a beautiful thing, you know. We're a little bit over time here, and so I want to just take a few minutes here just to give some final thoughts of mine, and I'm going to invite you to as well. But you know, one of the things I do today is I set up this. I've launched a business called Hike and Healing Experiences through Airbnb, and this past week I had the honor of having two guests show up independently of one another, and they were both in their 20s, and neither one of them were local. They were both here because they decided that they wanted to get away from their homes, you know, from where they live, and just have some downtime. And they booked a hike. One booked a hike in overcoming fear, or crushing fear, and the other one was hike and healing relationships. And where I'm going with this is that there is such hope that I have to spend 3 hours with each of these two young people. One was a female, one was a male. And what a gift. You know, what hope. For me, the word hope, the acronym is healing our perspective every day. And the gift for me is seeing that there are people in that generation, in their 20s, that are showing up for themselves. They didn't wait till they were 54 years old like I was to hit my rock bottom, or 60 something like John Fiore was. I don't know how old you were 2 years ago, Donald, but it's 58. Such, what's that?
58.
58. So it's such a beautiful thing to see the younger generation, those that are showing up, understanding that the power of speaking their truth and wanting to become the best version of themselves, and literally spending money to show up to do a hike and healing experience with me. And it's just like, it's such a beautiful moment for me of gratitude to witness it and see it and be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so with that, I'm gonna say two last things. One is next Friday night, we're gonna change it up. We've got Matthew O. Grant, I call him Mog, coming on the show. Matthew was on my show early on this summer. He is a very talented R&B musician. He's a soul singer. He writes his own music. He sings other songs that have come before his time. He's a very talented musician. He's a beautiful man, a beautiful soul. He's going to come on and we're going to have a holiday show. We're going to do some songs. He's going to sing. He's going to be on his baby grand piano.
Wow.
And he's been singing every night. I've been posting some of his music. He's been doing, I think, 25 nights leading up to Christmas. Every night he's been doing a live song, a Christmas song. So I've been posting. I didn't post last night because he did his just about midnight. But Matthew Grant will be on next week. It's going to be a show of holiday cheer, and he'll be sharing some of his stuff from his past, but mostly cheer and enjoying the moment of the season. And I'd like to ask you if you can maybe close this out with a song that comes to mind that you're feeling in this moment. And if you're not, that's okay. But if you could sing us out, I'd love to close the show that way if it's possible. What comes to mind?
All right. So this is completely off the cuff, but I actually thought of this the other day, and I haven't done any words to it, but I'll do, since a Christmas song, I'll try. If you're feeling real love, if you're feeling real lovely tonight, if you're feeling like you want to make it bright, if you're feeling like you want to make the change, let us know, let us know, let us know. I want to do something with that, so let us know, let it snow, let us know.
You didn't have to explain.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah, I know. I love that. I got to do something with that one, though. If you da-da-da-da-da-da-da and spirituality. Oh, one thing for the stream I was going to tell him be a great shirt for him would be spirality instead of spirituality, because he's David's spiral.
It's all about the high spiral and the low spiral.
Yeah.
David,
Spirality.
if you're watching, you may want to do some consulting with Cortez, the Don Man.
Yeah.
Because he's got some creative marketing ideas that you may want to take advantage of.
And we'll talk about that too when I see you. I have a whole list of things. So yeah, it's, the universe is setting me in place here, and it's just amazing. And again, it's just so grateful, and I'm just so excited, and I'm ready. I'm ready for service. Yes.
Beautiful. You're there. You are here. Hey, Donald, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I have had so much fun.
Thank you so much.
Then the first couple of things, the first guest to come live from their car. You are not driving. Thankfully, you're in a safe zone. You're always in a safe zone when you show up at Real Men, Real Talk Raw. I'll see you when you get out here. Drive safely. Have a beautiful Christmas. And I will see you sometime around the first of the new year. And we will do some lives from Pinnacle. Perhaps we'll do some lives from Sedona. The two of us together, we'll go live and we'll share.
That would be great. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Love you.
Take care.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Guys.